Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scouser's Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser. I am your host, as always, over here on a Monday morning with Grumpy. And yeah, it is kind of a grumpy kind of morning. It's Monday, the week, how the weekend went, and everything. We do not have the Polish Prince this morning. We always talk about him not working Mondays. He had like actually a work thing for once for a Monday. So we bought the Scouse Prince maybe prior to the kiss. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just a scout supervisor. I'm just here to make sure everyone's playing by the fair game here. I make sure I'm trying to keep you two in check. So I'm just going to check in once in a while and make sure that you guys are doing it right. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot to talk about over the weekend. Not a lot of headlines now because obviously, the international break is here. And I was looking earlier, like 16 players were sending. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Like 16 players going on an international break, including the U21. I guess Gravenberch is not going. I was slightly happy
Yeah.
for that one. Well, since I mentioned that, let's start with that, I guess. Like, where do you want your guys? I know it's always club over country, but
Yes.
at the same time, we like these dudes. This is a
Yes.
likable team, right? So they would want to. So when a guy like Gravenberch does not get called, which he did say he did not want to do the U21 thing and stuff. But not even only him, like in general, when a guy does not get called up, are you more that's good, or part of you says, that sucks for him though, man?
That's exactly it. Yeah. For us, it's really good. I think I want them at home, and I want them working on things because right now we are still a work in progress as a team. So I want them at home and I want more time with the manager and stuff like that. But also, I'm unhappy for them because I just want everyone to be happy, and I want those lads to be happy. I want my boys to be happy, and if it
Yeah.
makes them happy going to play for their country, then more power to you. Um, yeah, 16's a lot. Keller here would have been one, of course, so that would have been 17.
Yep.
But he didn't get picked, of course, because of his injury, which we still have no idea because, unfortunately, our reporters never asked that question about the substitute goalkeeper. But I don't know how long he's out for. Do you know?
Yeah,
No.
because it's never come up. Because like we always go over the things that were talked about. And the funny thing is, normally when they do the injuries, Klopp goes like he's thinking in his head, Diaz has been a good way. Like he'll just like list the people, and he has not, to be honest. Like over the last 2-3 games, when he does the recap, he has not like really listed them either. So Ryan says this international break may actually be a good
Yeah.
thing right now. The last one was shit. Yeah, sometimes the timing makes
Yeah.
a big difference as well. I mean, the problem is, when you have 16 guys gone, it's not like, okay, we got shit to work on. Well, yeah, we do, but there's nobody to freaking work on it. So
Yeah.
before we go away, by the way, not be go away, but before we get into the Liverpool stuff and over the weekend, do not forget that the morning coffee show is brought to you by Reckless Coffee Roasters. Make sure you go check them out at recklesscoffeeroasters.com. Grab a cup of Joe. Especially in a morning like this, especially if you're anything like me, staying up unnecessarily, playing PlayStation or watching YouTube games, YouTube videos of 49ers and Liverpool and Fenerbahce and stuff like that. Things I could have been watching during the day today, but I was out watching it at 2 a.m. in the morning. So it's not like they go bad or they go away, but that's how I roll. But yeah, check them out at recklesscoffeeroasters.com. It's our newest sponsor, so make sure you guys support them. Go order some coffee, grab a cup, and join us. What are we having this morning over there? I showed Grumpy. I didn't see what you had going over there.
I am having the Premier League Champions mode.
Nice. Look at that.
And I expect an updated version come May, but we shall see.
So Z says Keller has a knee injury, needed 12 stitches after a collision, will be out for weeks.
So that's fun. Super. No, honestly though, in a serious point, it's really sad because he is the international goalkeeper, but also Liverpool in the Europa League, and he would have been our goalkeeper.
Yeah.
We have Bournemouth away in the EFL. He probably would have played. So sad for him, really. And please, for God's sake, Allison, please stay fit for the next few weeks.
Yeah, that when he went down over there at one point,
Man.
I was heart and mouth moment because I was like, oh shit, Keller's not there either. Like it's like no. It kind of, I mean, thank God it didn't look serious at all. But
Yeah.
So yeah, 16 guys going down. Let's go to the yesterday first. You were not at the post match. We talked a little bit about it with Harry and Mecca in the post match as well. But do you leave that game saying we lost 2 points? Do you leave that game saying we got a point? Where are you at with it?
Oh man, listen. Anytime Liverpool are 2-1 ahead with 15, 20 minutes to go, I'm always going to be a bit disappointed if you don't win the game, even if you don't play well or not.
That's fair.
But probably on the balance of play, it's probably a fair point. What kills me the most is the Gravenberch chance. It's the best chance of the game that both sides have, apart from the goals. It's the best chance. And if Liverpool go 3-1, Liverpool will win the game, and then we're all here going, it's one of our best ever starts to a season kind of thing for the last few years, apart from when we won the league. And the reason why I say that is because the away games that we've had have been tough, really tough away games that we've had. It's a bit disappointing, but again, with all the teams that have still got to go to Brighton, including City and your Arsenals and all that kind of stuff, it might look like a good point in the long run at the end, but still disappointed by the way we conceded the goals more than anything.
I think this is where I am at, like what Chris says. I would have been happy with the point before the game. I don't think I'm happy with the point now. Probably mainly, like on paper, like where we have lost points do not look bad.
No.
But I think in most cases, like, we go back now, we're like, man, we should have probably beaten Chelsea. This is a game we had the leads. And if you look at the 90 minutes, you probably walk away as a neutral saying that's a fair result. I was entertained kind of a deal. And obviously we know the Spurs game and how we got screwed on that one. So in terms of those, I'm kind of like, I guess, okay with it on paper, but it does hurt because I thought that was a goal. Like I literally, and it was a beautifully set up. Just like I was like, oh, and then it hit the post. I was like, oh, double O, because I really thought it went in, and that does change the game, doesn't it? Because once we go 3-1, I feel like if that was in and we went 3-1, we would have won that game like 5-2 or something like that.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more. I think Brighton would have went for it more. I think Brighton, if Brighton would have got their goal or went to 3-2, I still think Liverpool would have caught them on the counter and won 4-2 or 5-2 kind of thing. But we didn't play well. That's the problem. We didn't play well.
No.
There was a couple of shocking performances in there, to be honest, including Alexis McAllister and Darwin Núñez, who I was just disgusted with yesterday. I don't mind saying.
Yes, you were, and you voiced it several times on the Discord channel.
I thought his attitude was disgusting. I didn't think he pressed enough. I thought he was kind of strolling around the pitch like it was a testimonial game, like a James Milner testimonial. I just don't think it's good enough. And I don't, especially away from home when you've got to work hard. You have to put the yards in to win football matches in the Premier League. And I don't think
in this case though, I don't like when I look at him, and I agree. I thought it was very poor yesterday. If 10 minutes into the game, the discussion on the Discord channel, which I did just post the link, by the way, if you want to join the fan chats and talk during the game, after the game, before the game, and argue with Kazi and stuff, just hop on there. And yeah, you will find a lot of things to argue to Kazi about. But I think, like when you watch, I feel like it's not necessarily like when he's not putting those miles, like you said, it's not necessarily laziness, but it's more like not knowing what to do or not knowing where to put those miles. It's almost like he is confused on where to go. I was talking about this in the post match. I think yesterday, when you look at that game going into that game, Brighton wants you to press, right? Brighton wants you to go at him. And, we've talked to you before, especially on like the Fridays when Anan shows and like gives a briefing on like what Núñez is up to, about how he's improved his like pressing and stuff like that. But it felt like yesterday we didn't want to press. We had to time the press a lot better. And he was too confused on when to go, when not to go. So when he went, it was 2 seconds late. And then there were times he should have gone. He didn't go at all. It felt like he was thinking too much. And the moment that kid starts thinking too much, he just can't play as well.
This is my point, though, when we always come back to the Gakpo or Núñez situation. The Gakpo is so technically better than him in terms of his brain, of like when to do things and when not to do. That's what I'm talking about. When Gakpo's such a key cog to this. Yes, he might not look as flashy and he might not look as quick, but by the way, he gets the same kind of goals as him. Because I think Núñez only scored one more this season, and Gakpo played centre mid for 3 games.
Yes.
So we are at that point. We need to stop treating Núñez like he's a challenge. He's been at the club for over a year. He's not a new signing anymore. I expect more. Am I okay to expect more out of him? I think I am. Am I okay to expect more when you're away to Brighton from home and you're not? In my opinion, listen, we missed Jones a lot, by the way, yesterday. And anyone doubts the value of Jones into Liverpool's midfield just needs to watch the game yesterday, because my God, we missed Curtis Jones. Gakpo, for me, is as important as Jones in this side. For the press, for starting, when to go, when not to go, to link with the midfield. We had Mo Salah part yesterday playing centre midfield. He was picking the ball off the left back, and you're like, hey Mo, I don't really want you there. I really like you on the wing, where Sully March is playing left back. I really want you out there. It's because he wasn't getting involved in the game and he was dropping deep, and he's probably looking at Nunes himself. Just overall frustrating, mate. We'll get on to McAllister in a minute, but the Darwin Nunes thing, mate, I just expect a lot more. I really do, and I thought he was super poor. And it also comes back to the point, I don't know if has he gone away on international duty?
Who, Nunez? Yes.
Yeah, so he ruled himself out last week for Spurs, but it's okay though. Go and play for your country. Yeah, great.
Poor guy. He was about to come into that game, but yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I think there are games. I agree with Chris where when he says when we're in a team space, the chaos of Nunez works. When we have to sit off like yesterday, Gakpo is the man, and Bickler's up and awake. Look at that. Gakpo is the business, the glue between the mids and the attacking line, and that's the thing. Is that the deal where the game, like the system we play in, has not really changed ultimately? And let's face it, Gakpo is a lot closer to Bobby. In some ways, a bigger, faster Bobby, maybe not as fancy, not as flashy, and not as good yet in some of the like off the ball things, Bobby used to do, compared to Nunez, who is still trying to do that, but is a lot far off from it when you compare it to Gakpo.
The two different types of players, aren't they? Like massively. For me, the argument is I still don't think Nunez is a number 9. I still think I'd play him on the left, but that's just me personally. I just think he gets more space on the left to cause chaos. I just think that, when you're down the middle like that and you've got 3 or 4, players around you kind of thing, you can kind of struggle. But I think Gakpo, mate, is so important for Liverpool. I think the key difference for me, Gakpo's so clinical. I think when he gets the first chance, he usually scores. And that in games, I always look back to the United 7-0, the chance he gets, the first chance, which is Liverpool's big chance in the game, and he buries it. If you actually look at the Leicester in the EFL Cup, that's Liverpool's probably main really good chance. Swivel, turn, goal, bang, clinical. And then I look at the Union game where Nunes misses his sitter in the first half. Gakpo doesn't miss that. Let's get that right. Gakpo. To be honest, the whole team don't miss that apart from Nunes.
Well, yeah.
But that's where, when you're away from home in the Premier League, let's get it right. Brighton's home record is really good as well. And you have to be clinical when you get certain chances, and you have to work hard. You need to work hard to create the chances. And I don't think Liverpool created enough yesterday because of the laziness, let's get it right, of the centre forward. By the way, you
are putting it out laziness?
I am, yeah. Yeah, I am. I wish we can't stop treating him like he's a brand new signing, new to the side. You've been here a year. I expect better from you. You're asking for starts. You're knocking on the door. Everyone wants you to start.
I mean, here's the thing. I understand what you mean. Like you can put, you cannot be happy with the performance, but laziness seems like almost, I don't know, to me at least, like slightly intentional. Whereas I feel like it's not intentional. He's just lost. Like he gets lost, I should say.
Maybe. Which is not
a good thing, but I'm just saying.
But it got in the second half, mate, and Szoboszlai was the one who was starting the press. Like Curtis Jones starts our press to the keeper. Yeah. Their keeper was having 12 seconds in the first half to pass the ball. Just standing like that, going like that, pick me past, just chip it over the centre forwards to the left winger or the right winger, and we'll get him behind, that kind of deal. And I feel like that's when Jones is so important, because he does start that press. But there's also a part of Nunes where you've got to take pride in your own performance. Can you walk off? Again, I think Darren said it in the chat. If Jota wasn't suspended, he would have got hooked.
Easily.
Got hooked on the hour. And the reason why he would have got hooked, mate, is because he wasn't doing it. He wasn't cutting you know what I mean? We had no options yesterday, so we played the 90. But again, otherwise he gets hooked. And he might walk, and this is where stats blind your statements, because people will go, well, he got an assist. Come on, that was more of a Harvey assist than a Nunes assist. You know what I mean? In that, and then Harvey still got hooked at half time. Harvey still got hooked. And I actually thought Harvey was pretty good going forward. I thought he was okay in the first half. I didn't think he was excellent.
Well, I think he had alternatives. We just didn't have an alternative up top.
That's my point. You know what I mean? And
Ryan says Nunez has to come off the bench in big games. This is superpower coming in when defenses are tired, which is great and all, and I agree to it. But at the same time, that's pretty darn expensive for like a trick play coming in the 60th minute.
But I still think the manager, and this is like, I'm not putting any on the manager, of course, because it is also the player. I don't know what his best position is. I think he's better off the left. I genuinely think I'm cutting in on his right foot. He done a shot yesterday. I think it was in the second half. He hits a shot on the turn on his left foot. When Liverpool literally were under pressure, we get the ball up the field. I think Salah crosses the ball in. It gets cleared. Nunez is on the edge of the box with us literally facing our goal, and then he does like this swivel shot on his left foot, and it's the defender. I'm like, why have you done that? Like, just use your brain. Just stop the ball and keep the pressure on, and go to the other wing, and let's just give our defense 10 seconds, 15 seconds to breathe.
But I think that's where the frustration, like his inner frustration, I think comes out. And I think that's probably my biggest concern with him. You know, we were talking about this, I think, last week in terms of, confidence. He's not a guy who plays with confidence. Like on Friday, and I was like, he has his confidence back. I don't think he does. I think you look at the squad and you look at Gakpo has this built-in, I don't know if it's like a Dutch thing. He has like a little Van Dijk thing going, right? Like going forward, like he has his own inner cockiness that, like, I know what I'm doing here, kind of a deal. Whereas Nunez looks like he's still like the new kid in school trying to fit in.
Yeah, but Gakpo's
he's doing some stupid things, like, dude, okay, that's cringy.
Exactly, but Gakpo showed up in January.
Oh no, I know, but he has that built-in deal.
Of course, he's an arrogance, and he's got this arrogance about it. Like, they got the arrogance. The Dutch players have arrogance, in my opinion, anyway. Gravenberch is an example. Virgil's an example. Where they just, that kind of thing. I just feel like I wanted more. And by the way, I'm not talking when Liverpool are in possession. I'm talking about the press. I'm talking about busting a gut a bit. I'm talking about trying. This is the bare minimum. You're away from home in the Premier League against a good football team. It's just, I was so frustrated with him yesterday, mate. Again, you know what I mean? And the Gakpo loss, we don't know how long he's out for. And again, I'd love to have a little timeline on that.
I know he said after the international break, but we know how those things go. Like, I don't see him starting against Everton. If anything, I see him like coming off the bench like the last 20 minutes or something like that. I just don't see him like starting right out.
Does he play him against Toulouse at home for 20 minutes, that kind of game? And then does he play him start him against Bournemouth away?
Well, I guess we're getting Jota back in action.
Yes, which is massive again. We've got Everton in the derby, which is a bit different because it's mad though. Because this is the thing. I'd want him to play in the derby. I'd want Nunez just to go out and cause chaos because I think Tarkowski and Branthwaite are kind of 2-yard dogs who are not very good. So Branthwaite's kind of good, but you look at Tarkowski. But maybe Jota is the option. But I don't think Jota's a left winger. This is my point. I think Jota's a centre forward. So I think, again, the options are all over the place. But it feels weird to me, and I don't know about you. We have one left winger, one proper centre forward in Gakpo, one right winger, and two players who can kind of play anywhere, who we're not sure about. That's what it feels like to me. You know what I mean? We have one centre forward, one right winger, one left winger.
It feels like they don't have an ideal spot. Right? Like, they're like, we keep trying stuff. I did not want to lose this, by the way. Darren says he needs this teeth whitening for Gakpo to be Bobby. And who else to go to but call you, Kazi. So you can lead him the right way.
I know a guy. I know a guy. But yeah, we can get,
And yeah, Paul says 9 left wingers, and that's, I think, the issue. And maybe it's almost better to see. Look, yesterday was kind of like almost a too complex of a game, I think, for Nunez. And when you have that hey, let's just be being honest. I think it was too complex of a game in terms of when to time the press. When you have a team by the ropes at home and you just start running at him nonstop, he can do that because he can run all game. But when you have to pick your spots and know when to press and when to like keep your shape and stuff like that, I think he is lost. And maybe partially that's why we did not press, because there was one point I was talking about in the post-match at the middle of the second half. Diaz is on the right-hand side pressing. So that ball gets switched to Diaz's side. Because I don't know why the hell Diaz is there, because he kind of sometimes loses himself too and starts chasing people. There's a big difference between pressing and chasing people. And he's chasing people on the right, like on the right wing. The ball gets switched over, and I think that's the one that he missed the sitter in front of the box. I think that's what attack ended up being because Diaz was not there. And I think when you have Diaz and Nunez and guys who are very irresponsible in their pressing, more chasers than pressers, against a team like Brighton who wants you to chase, right? They're passing in the back. They're like, come here, you can get this, because then they can play around you, and obviously then we get exposed in the back. I felt like that's why Nunez, under most if everybody is healthy, I don't think there's a way he's starting Nunez against Brighton. I don't think Klopp is starting him.
No, I agreed. Yeah, I think he would have done Jota as well. Agreed. And I think that's why he's probably a bit more disappointed that he came out and said, "Oh, it wasn't actually a sending off," kind of thing. But I think that's why he's probably more annoyed. But it's just, you're just saying there, he doesn't know when to press and stuff. So what's he getting taught in training then? Because he's been here over a year. If you can't fit the system and you want to just be off this like impact sub or play against the bottom 10 away from home, and that's great. Because by the way, if you play against the bottom 10 home and away, it's 60 points. So Nunez can win you at 60 points, if that's what we're getting at. But it comes down to the point of the certain times when you've got to do something for the team. We have Gakpo playing centre mid. You have to do something for the team. But what I found mad was, I keep going back to the Curtis Jones thing. Not because I'm his biggest fan, because we do miss him hardly. We missed him yesterday massively, right? But it gets down to the point where he started the press. Liverpool scored the goal, the first goal. Then Szoboszlai wins the pen off doing the same press that Jones did. Szoboszlai, literally, he's done it. Because the manager must have went, "Oh yeah, this is what I want you to do." And in the second half, he was the one who was pressing the keeper. Henderson used to do it. Henderson used to press the goalkeeper. It wasn't, I one of those things, because our front three, it was Henderson. Henderson used to press the goalkeeper, the front three would drop back in, the goalkeeper would play a ball over the top, then the best players have the ball. It was quite standard. And that's literally what used to happen. Jones does it now, and no one was doing it in the first half. I just wanted Nunez. Maybe it was a bit of a confusion when maybe Nunez should go, shouldn't go kind of deal, but yeah, super disappointed yesterday, mate. I'm hoping, we get Jota back at the international break. The good thing is now for the manager, going to the Everton game a minute ago, go back to Brighton, he has his excuses lined up because the South American lads, because Alexis McAllister was absolutely garbage yesterday. So he has an option there to do Gravenberch and go, well, you came back late from the international break. If you remember, like last time he came back from the international break, he done McAllister and he was absolutely garbage against Wolves. And he got hooked at half time. I think it was half time, maybe he got hooked.
It was half time, yeah.
Yeah. So we got hooked at half time because he was atrocious. It was as bad as that yesterday. So you're like, maybe with Gravenberch, you might go, Gravenberch is coming straight in. You were poor last time. You know what I mean? He has his excuses lined up. So, for example, with Nunez, you can go, you came back late. We're doing Jota. Do you know what I mean? Against Everton. So
does he need to come up with excuses? You think? I mean, especially with Mac, because Mac can be like, good, because then I don't have to play out of position.
But I don't think it's that he needs to say that. Yeah, I don't think he needs excuses much. I just think it's more players like to be explained. Players like to be, oh, why am I not playing? And they like to be told. Do you know what I mean? I don't think the manager needs to explain anything to anyone. But I also think that's how you keep players on side, especially when you have such a deep squad. You tell them why they're not playing, and you're going to be playing this game and that game, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like, let's talk about Mac, I guess. More than Mac, I guess let's talk about Endo, because now, we kind of talked about the Nunez, is it making long-term signing? I know Paul was saying earlier, if the players you prefer don't fit the system, change the formation. If you're not going to change the formation, you have to play the players that best fit the system. This has been an issue for years now. And I think, look, knowing you're not going to change the system back and forth, right? Unless you're this manager, unless he's really comfortable with it, unless it's been practiced 800 times, he will not go to a different, he will not change things. No. So I think, call it a weakness, call it stubbornness, whatever it is. But in that case, then you got to make sure the guys you're getting are playing, are fitting that system, because you're not going to, I almost feel like they saw the raw talent and they felt like they could. Is it just that Nunez is not learning as fast as they thought? Pep was maybe like, you know what, I will make a machine out of him. And now Pep is like, we're missing a couple of parts. It doesn't work.
It's so hard to say because he is so young and he's so raw and he can be kind of molded. The one with McAllister playing in the six, and I get this, but the manager will clearly just say, well, we've been winning football matches, haven't we? And winning football matches all that counts. So that's an excuse that you can just write off. And they'll go, we should have beat Spurs. Whatever's happened against Spurs. And we drew against Brighton. If Liverpool beat Spurs, everyone sits there and goes, well, we've only drew against Chelsea away and Brighton away. It's not bad. But so the manager, that's what the manager will think. But then also the manager might go, in 6 weeks' time, it could be just Gravenberch playing the 6, and everyone goes, well, maybe the manager was right, and he's just trying to get Gravenberch up to speed. We just don't know.
Do you say Gravenberch is a 6, though?
No.
Okay, that's what I was going to say, because to me, he is too, like, attack-minded to be a 6. Maybe because that's what he's playing, so that's what we're seeing.
But I think because he's a lot quicker than McAllister, I think he can play it a bit better because he's a lot quicker. So he can get back. When someone plays the ball over the top to McAllister, mate, Jesus Christ, I think he's slow, man. But I think because I do think there's a part of this where the Andre comes back into situation in January. That could be another part of this conversation where they are clearly interested in Andre, but he went deep in the cup and stuff like that in their Champions League and whatever. And his buyout clause is in January. Maybe that's the argument. Let's just get through till January and we want our proper, this is the 6 that we want. Maybe. That could be a part.
Yeah, but you got to figure if Andre, let's be realistic. If Andre gets signed in January, he's probably not still playing until March.
Maybe, well, the way Klopp kind of does this sometimes, then maybe. But then also he throws Gakpo in and he's ready to go straight away. And he throws Szoboszlai in and he's ready to go straight away. And so it could be that thing as well with the manager where he's going, can I just get through with enough parts of this to go until I get to January? Let's get this right. Like, we can all be doom and gloom about yesterday, and that's fine. Liverpool are 3 points off the top.
Yeah, let's look at that, actually. I mean, but here's the thing, like, people are constantly still saying, like, oh, it's early. Like, it is early in the season, but, I mean, we are up to week 8 already, too. So, like, yeah, it's early, but we're almost, quarter way in. So, I think if kind of like yesterday's game, right? If we're going into it said, you know what, the draw is not that bad. If I showed you this, knowing you have a brand new built midfield, and if I said, hey, 8 weeks in, this is what we got, you're taking it. Are you taking it?
All day. It's not about being 3 points off the top. If you offer me a point behind City, I don't care who's top. If you offer me a point behind City after 8 games, we all bite the hands off, especially with Liverpool's start with the away games, which have been tough. And we'll get on to Liverpool's next 4 in a minute because, that's really important, I think, comparing to City's next 4. But, yes, we all take it. We all take it. And let's get it right as well. When I look at the goals against her, that is a lot more comfortable, than I kind of expected. 9 in 8 games. Okay, not fantastic, but we do concede 2 away to the Spurs. Whatever happens there happens kind of thing. So I'm happy. I am super pleased with where we are in the league. I really am. Listen, the target's still top 4. We all have dreams about winning the league. But the target's still top 4. I don't care about where Spurs are. I do not care where Arsenal are. I care where City are. City have lost 3 of the last 4. So they lost to Newcastle in the Cup. They lost to Wolves.
Yes.
Lost to Arsenal. They've scored 1 goal in that time. They're all the 3 games that Rodri was suspended for. So please, the love of God, someone wind up Rodri in the next game, please. And get because if we have any chance to win in the league, he can't play. But yeah, I'm super pleased, mate. I really am.
I mean, honestly, if you look at that top 10 right now, right? We have played everyone except, I guess we can cheat and do out of the top 8. We played everybody but City and Arsenal, right? Am I looking at that right?
Yes, at the top 8, yeah.
But I guess the thing comes as far as I go, I almost feel like I worry more about the other games. Like, I can't look at, even when we're in our rolling, I can't look at a Luton Town game and be like, we got that one, because God knows.
I mean,
you're a lot more Mr. Confident in those. You're like, we'll smash them 5-1. Yeah. But I can't look at that and be like, this could possibly be a frustration game. Nothing goes in and we keep attacking and then we give up. Because we give away so many silly, like they say in tennis, unforced errors, if you will. Like the kind of goals that we give away. I can't feel confident with this team going against anybody. I'm a warrior by lifestyle, but I'm just saying, especially with this team, the goals that we concede, I can't feel comfortable against anybody because you play against a team that's going to sit back, is going to be hard to break down, and then they get a lucky bullshit goal on the other side. Now you're really screwed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and that can definitely happen, especially in this league, because 18 of the clubs in this league, all of them have got a star player, I would say. So they've all got someone like, if you look at Forest, Awonyi, great player, top striker. So Awonyi could be a top 8 striker kind of thing. You know, even look at Everton with Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin is a great striker when he's fit, and he can cause damage and he can cause you pain. But also, I think 3 of the next 4 Liverpool fixtures in the league are at home. I expect Liverpool to beat anyone in the league at home. Anyone in the league. I'm not interested who they are. I don't care if it's City. I don't care if it's Liverpool at home. I expect us to win. I think we have Everton, Forest at home, then Luton away, which should be, if anything, it should be a bye. Let's get this right. If Liverpool can't beat Luton, I don't care. We may as well just pack it all in. And then Brentford at home.
Yeah, so this is what we got going now.
The next 4 in the league, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're Everton, so it's Everton at home. I expect a win, even if it is the derby, and it will be end to end, and it will be nervous, and I will be feeling sick about 4 days before it. But we expect Liverpool to beat Everton at home. I expect them to be Forest at home. I expect them to be Luton away, and then I expect them to be Brentford at home. The reason why I'm bringing up these 4 key fixtures, I think these are the next 4 fixtures are key. Liverpool win these 4, which I expect Liverpool to do. I think if you pull up City's next 4 fixtures, Tim, in the league, because I think it's important at the time.
You know, Polish Prince is not this demanding in the morning. Like, look.
I mean, listen.
I'm just saying. You know.
You know what I'm saying? I'm butting them ready to go. You know what I mean?
Hey, to give you credit, you're 2 hours ahead of me too. So this has to be even more.
Oh, behind 7 a.m. Look at me go. But look, if you look at their next 4, they're playing Brighton, United away, Chelsea away, and if you slow down again, Chelsea away, and then who's their 4th one? Liverpool. That's it. So they're playing Bournemouth. That's it. Brighton, United, Bournemouth, and Chelsea.
Yep.
With United, Liverpool could win their next 4 conceivably, and then you'd expect City to whatever they have to do in those games. Because right now that Chelsea game looks like a really tough game because they're starting to click. They are starting to score goals and they are starting to win football matches. So that looks like a tough game. United away is going to be tough for them because it is their derby. So Liverpool, it could be wide open for Liverpool by the time we play them. It really could be wide. Like Liverpool could maybe even a lead on City going into that game.
So you're not putting any stock. I was going to ask you that, kind of like what's going to be like the parting topic, but let's get to it now. You're not putting a whole lot of stock in the Arsenal City game yesterday with the Arsenal win.
No, God no.
I didn't get to watch it, to be honest. So I don't know. Did you watch it?
I know. I was playing golf. I've watched the hour highlights when I come home. I was playing golf. I seen the score.
How did that go for you? I don't see you as a golfer. That's odd.
Me? Oh, I smashed it. I would not. To be fair, I was poor yesterday.
Like
Darwin Nunes playing golf. Didn't know when to come or go.
Just causing chaos out in the whole 8.
Hacking and everything. But I seen the result on my phone and I went, I bet you that was a deflected goal. I genuinely went, I bet you that's and I went home and watched the highlights and of course it was. And I went, I just knew they'd just do something weird. It was just a deflected goal off Ake. But Ake has that chance in the 4th minute. I don't know if you've seen the highlights or not, but Ake has a glorious chance in the 4th minute. Off a set piece, Haaland heads it to him. He's 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he hits it over. And you're like, if they scored that, they probably win 3-0 City. It's just one of those things that happen in football, man. Because football, I always say it, football is about moments in games, and that's a key moment. It's like the Gravenberch yesterday. It was a key moment in the game. It's about a moment. Arsenal can take all the credit they like either, and I'm not whatever they like. Saka's injured, by the way. Not sure how long he's out for, and he's one of their most important attackers. I just don't feel like they've got enough goals in their team to win a league. I don't feel like they have a striker who can get 25. And I don't think anyone's won the league without a striker who at least gets 20.
I'll ask the intern once we get it.
And you can ask it, the tech guys there. Where's Harry when you need him? But I just don't think anyone wins the league like that, mate. I just think you need enough goals. The Spurs one, listen, Liverpool nearly beat them in 9 men. So, you know what I mean? As much as like...
Yeah, I think Chris was saying earlier, I mean, their schedule has been really easy. 4 of the 6, he says, is against the bottom 4. And really, I mean, they kind of squeaked away from Sheffield United game. It's not like they won those really comfortably too. So
Luton played really well against them. I thought Luton had a really good...
And I don't think Spurs fans are even expecting. Like, they're like riding it, but I think they know it can't be sustained.
And when they're on the back of Mourinho and Conte, they just want to enjoy a bit of football, don't they? They just want to go to the match and have a bit of a laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I understand that. I get it. So, I think that's what Spurs are feeling it right now. But listen, they might get confidence and kick on. Do I think they can do it for 38 games? No. Do I want to? Do I want to play them at Anfield next week? Yes.
Yeah.
Please. Because you know what I mean? Do I want to see East Basuma bring his child on the end of the pitch like he did last time after he beat Nine-Man Liverpool and he was walking around with his kid waving at all the crowd? Yeah, that'll be fun. But no, they're having a lovely time, aren't they? They're having a lovely time. And who are we to question anyone having a lovely time to?
Yeah, I mean, they know. I mean, like I say, we have Jake on our like panel show on Wednesdays. I mean, before the season started, they were like, let's see what happens. It's almost like a rebuild here. So they're taking this like we weren't even expecting this. So this is house money they're playing with, if you will. So they're just like more than happy with what's happening. I mean, obviously being up there now, if they're going to be fighting for top four. But I mean, yeah, the fixtures, I think, is basically what kind of skews things right now. Not how many weeks they played, but who they played in these 8 games. And obviously they've had like the easier run overall.
So,
go ahead.
That Luton game, mate, Luton had some glorious chances in the second half, you know.
Yes.
Really, really solid chances where they could have got back into the game. Basuma's now suspended for their next game because he done a dive. I don't know if you've seen that sending off. It's one of those.
That is the worst dive. And I've done some dives back in my day. And, you know, as a defender, you don't do them as well. That is the worst dive I have ever, because it didn't even make sense. Like, he acted a different kick and there was anything close.
Yeah, in the first half. And I've just checked now, they've got Fulham at home on Monday night, which sounds like, okay, that looks like an easier one for them. Fulham beat them in the cup, in the League Cup.
Yeah.
People forget that. Because if I was a Spurs fan, by the way, I'd be more pissed that we lost in the League Cup, because that could be a really good chance for them to win a trophy this season and ride a bit of a wave and just go, well, if we just win these 9 games, you win the League Cup. Because that's what it be. I think it's less than 9. It could be 7 games. I think that you only need to win 7 games to win the League Cup. That could have been really good for Spurs, so I'd be more pissed off at that.
Yeah.
But the sending off, mate, it's an absolute travesty. It's a travesty. Do you know what the funniest thing is as well? It's VAR years. You can't do it anymore.
Like, no, I mean, here's the thing. You can't do it that bad. I mean, like, you know, we always talk about this. You know, I know, like, you know, Monday Night Galley sometimes says, you know, they don't show the yellow. It's hard to tell. Well, he made it easy to tell, but it's normally hard to tell, like, because you can't say, oh, that's not enough contact for you to fall like that. I mean, you can't make that judgment and give somebody a yellow card. So it's very rare that it's very clear cuts acting, because it has to be really poor acting. Because, I mean, yeah, sometimes when you're going full speed, I can go like this, and then you will just fly off. I mean, it's, you know, it's weird. Depends on how strong you are and all that kind of stuff. But with this, I mean, it is so freaking obvious. I was slightly, I mean, and here's another thing. For it to be the second yellow, it had to be that obvious. So he had a high bar to reach. Yeah. And he just like leaped over that bar. It was just
like to do it when you're booked in the first half. Like, if it was the 88th minute, cup final. I'm saying you can go, all right, fair enough. You're losing in a cup final. You took a chance. It hasn't worked. Whatever. I can swallow that. You're playing Luton. I'm sorry, away from home in the first half when you're booked and you take a dive late in them circumstances in that context. Insane. Yeah,
I wasn't watching and I saw some of the comments on Discord. Then at halftime they were showing the highlights. I was like, that is freaking horrible. Like,
that's not even. I mean, like sometimes when you do a dive and you kick the defender's foot, one of those ones.
Yeah.
No, it was just clean air. He just took a lovely little dive. I can't.
Yeah, it's not like let me leave my foot over here. Let me look for contact or anything like that. It was just, it was horrific. That's a defensive midfielder trying to play striker.
And the funniest thing is, he's been their best player this year.
He's been solid. He has been solid. And I know we talked about him, you know, coming to us back in the day because he was 30, 35, somewhere on there, right?
Yeah. Because he had a year left on his deal or something when he went to Spurs. And he didn't fit the first season and stuff, but Ange just brought him in and he's been absolutely excellent this year. And now he's suspended for the game. So now you're not going to be able to kick a football for 3 weeks for Spurs because it's international break. That's what I always think as well. That's why I think in certain moments when we with Jota, that's why he plays the night against Union. It's because he's not going to kick a ball for 2 weeks. Like when Rodri comes back for the Brighton game, he wouldn't have kicked the ball for City for like 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? 4 or 5. It's insane when you think about it because he's been out that long. He played against Leipzig and they win. But yeah, fun stuff, mate. Honestly.
One topic I wanted to cover before we go, because we talked about Mac and stuff, and then we kind of like went all over the place. But thanks to you, no, I'm just kidding. Kind of like the conversation went a different direction. But let's go back to Mac, right? Because we went international. I don't know how the hell we got here, but let's go back to Mac and Endo. More importantly, Endo. I think because I still feel like it's judging Mac where he's at and kind of like, you know, nitpicking on things he does is like when we when everybody was evaluating Jones when he was playing left wing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know they're not as different, but it's still different. And you can see how good Mac is when he gets the ball like in like the opponent's half facing the goal. You can see his vision, you can see his movement, you can see where he's gonna go, and you can see how he can make a difference there. And you kind of taking that away, obviously, when you play him as defensive midfielder. So what does that say about? Does that say, I should say, anything about Endo, that we are still using this guy there? Does he not have confidence? Is he not ready? Not that I have been impressed with him when he's played in Europe, and obviously it's a lower level that he's playing at.
Yeah, I feel like Endo's a tricky one for me. Endo's come from a team who were in the bottom 10 of Bundesliga, who get about 30% of possession. Most games, probably, because they're in the bottom 10.
Yeah, if they're playing Bayern or something. Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to touch the ball. So it gets to the stage where Endo's job probably was just win the ball back and give it to a great player, which is great, and that's exactly what we want. But there's also a part sometimes where the manager probably thinks, I can take a chance with McAllister there because I want his vision going forward. And I want him for that. For example, if my strikers take their chances that we create for them because of McAllister, for example, like I think he's had the other couple of assists this season. He had a great one for Darwin in a game when he plays the ball over the top and Darwin just clips it.
Yep.
It's a lovely guy. We were at home. I can't remember who we played. I think, yeah.
Anyway. That was the last home game, right? Because that's right after he missed another sitter.
Yeah. Funny enough, he missed a sitter. That's no surprise. Yeah. So anyway, we had that moment as well. So he's got that in the locker more than Endo, I feel like. But there's also part of this, I think, where the manager, there's been certain games yesterday, I couldn't believe we never done it, where Szoboszlai sat alongside him for 15 and just went, we just got to take this now for 15. Just take your medicine, then control the game, and that's fine. And you get through games and stages. Szoboszlai didn't do that yesterday because Szoboszlai probably had his worst game for Liverpool. And he wasn't even that bad.
He was poor.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't even that bad. It's because his level was just so bad. He wasn't great. Now, so he was struggling himself in the game, that's why I found it more interesting that he took Elliott off. I'm not saying that he should take the others off. He took Elliott off because Elliott at least knows he's played in this system before and knows what to do, kind of deal, and he knows personally his own game. I don't think Elliott was worse than Szoboszlai yesterday in the first half, but I thought Szoboszlai won the penalty, and the sending off. I'm sure we can get onto as well if you want, but yeah, I think that's probably the reason why he wants McAllister's attacking going forward, and he's going to take more chances. If my strikers take the chances that McAllister takes, conceding 2 doesn't really bother me because we should score 5.
Yeah,
that kind of deal on the front foot. But he has been poor, and Liverpool have a decision to make. And this is why I know I think Ryan put in the chat actually that this could be a good time for this international break, and it could be because the manager had a little bit of thinking to do. Because now we have 4 games against sides we should beat, including throwing in the 2 to lose games in the Bournemouth game. Liverpool could win 7 on the bounce, and that's not
should.
In all comps, Liverpool, or at least 6 and draw 1 to lose away, for example. So we have that going for us, where the manager now has a decision to make. What is your Gravenberch plan? What's your Endo plan? We know what your McAllister plan is, because your McAllister plan is number 8 going forward, and we know you're playing there because the manager's mentioned this. It's not his best position. The manager said this in previous conferences, so the manager's not stupid. So what's your Gravenberch plan and what's your Endo plan? Because right now you've got Gravenberch for 2 weeks, and you have the derby against a couple of bums. So you have a serious question he has to answer. I think going forward he'll do Gravenberch, and you'll see a lot more of McAllister in the 8. I think he'll do a Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister, and I think he'll do a Gravenberch in the 6 in the derby. I think that's what he goes with. If McAllister comes back from the international break, depending on his timing and all that kind of stuff. But if not, he'll do it against Forest at home. We need to see him further up the field. He's far too creative to be where he is. And I feel sorry for him, I really do. But again, there's also part of this where you still got to be better. You're playing out of position, you don't need to lose the ball and pass the ball to their players all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even if you are playing out of position, you can still find one of our players, please. Curtis Jones' greatest aspect, and I keep going back to him because it's important, he doesn't lose the ball.
Yes.
It's his greatest strength. He doesn't lose the football. So when he's in tight areas with 2 players around him, he'll find a pass. And then, you know what I mean? Then we can go,
And I think that's more like by this. I think that's something that he has seen in his own game and fixed, because that was his weakness, like
Yeah, yeah.
diving into two people and turning the ball over, trying to make something happen. I think he understands the value of rotating the ball if you need to, recycling it, and then not losing it. We'd rather keep it than try to force create something. He has improved in that. I thought yesterday, if we were ever going to see Endo start at 6 with Jones not being there, I thought yesterday was the time, and he did not even come in. I figured maybe he will come in later. We were talking about that to close out the game, especially when we had the lead. Even then, he was not the one coming in. I think Ryan was saying in the comments earlier that he is, like a stopgap and stuff like that. I don't feel he's as stopgap as, for example, Arthur was, because we did spend some money on him.
Yeah.
Did we overspend? He's just not ready. We just don't have confidence. What is it?
I don't know, mate, what his end-up plan is. The only end-up plan I can think of, he's probably going to say after the international break, you're playing once a week because you're going to play the 2 Toulouse games and the Bournemouth game. So maybe he's thinking like that and go, well, I want to see more of him. I felt sorry for him because I thought he played really well in the second half against Leicester. And I thought he played better. Endo, I thought it was his best 45, at least for Liverpool. Now,
I think what he does, by the way, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you were saying it earlier that he used to play in a team that did not have as much as the possession. One thing I noticed with him is, like, when I was watching the Europa game, he does seem to backpedal a lot more. And before he knows it, he's like touching Van Dijk. And Van Dijk's like, what the fuck you doing up here? Go up. And you actually talked about that, where he was pushing into back. He almost has to be forced to be sitting up. You're like, no, you're supposed to be up there stopping the counter before the ball comes here. He almost is more confident, keeping everything in front of him and like paddling back.
Could not agree more. And I feel like that's it. But he is 30 years of age, and that's going to be hard to get out of him. To go, hey, lads, we're really good, Don't worry about it. If we go one-on-one with a striker, we back ourselves. Where he's probably playing in sides where it's like, I can't let my fucking defence get exposed here. Where Van Dijk's going, I'd rather play one-on-one because you're in my way.
Yeah.
I'll take the same. That's what I'm saying. And I'd rather go one-on-one with the striker and have a battle with him. I don't need you here. Kind of deal, I want you there. Because when I win the ball back, I need you 15 yards further forward. It's that kind of thing to me I always think about with XG, with Alisson. Everyone goes, Liverpool got a lot of conceding XG, Oh, we got a lot of goal. Yeah, we got the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah.
XG doesn't mean anything. Because our strikers go, if you want to take a shot from 30 yards, no problem. Crack on. If you want to take, you know what I mean? Oh, you skimmed me. No problem, fella. Go and beat that lad and goal. Because the save he makes yesterday in the one-on-one, it's a joke of a save on his left hand. So I think that's where the Endo thing is, where you got to go. We just got to get him further up the field and get him a bit more on the ball. Of course, the Curtis Jones thing, he is Liverpool's most important midfielder to me, alongside Szoboszlai.
Yeah, but you benched. Gally was mentioning you benched him earlier.
No, I mean, sorry, for the next couple of games.
Oh, okay. So what happens when Curtis comes back?
Oh, Curtis Jones starts for Liverpool.
Okay, so who's at the 6?
I would have Gravenberch, Jones, and Szoboszlai.
So you benched Mac.
I would bench Mac, yeah. I just think there's also a part of this as well. When he goes deep in the World Cup, he plays every game for Brighton. And he's still getting picked for his international side. Any chance we can, you've got a few weeks off. You're coming on for little 20s here and there, and we're going to bleed them into the 8 role kind of deal. I would have Jones all day, starting every single game. But there's also a part of this again with Szoboszlai. We can go, do Liverpool, for example, you're playing Luton away. You might be able to do an Endo. You should be allowed to do Endo against Luton away. And to do you know what I mean? And maybe even rest a Szoboszlai. Can you rest a Mach? You should be able to. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Liverpool have enough options now where we can do this kind of stuff. We can't think about we're just benching them. You just got to think that the manager has options to rotate. We're not used to seeing this.
Maybe that's why, we're not used to seeing the manager do it too, even when he had the chance.
Yeah, but there's also the chances where it was Ox and Keita, but now it's Szoboszlai, McAllister, Jones, even Thiago, wherever he is, that kind of deal.
He's somewhere there.
He is somewhere. He's somewhere. He's Mighty Red for a bit, isn't he? Everyone's got to be a bit of Mighty
Red. Get our money's worth somehow.
Yeah. Thiago, get the suit on. I used to always say it was Keita, and then it was like Pedro Chilwell and stuff. But anyway, I digress. But it comes back to the main point for me. Like, the manager has options. He has options. So don't just think in your head, guys. I know we're not used to it because we're all programmed to see the manager go with his first 11 for X amount of games and that's about it. He has better options now. He doesn't have Ox and Keita. He has better players to bring on and he has more options. So you will see a lot more rotating. We are not playing Champions League football. We're playing Europa League against a few bums. So Liverpool should be able to do this, mate, in games. And I feel like Endo, the derby's key. The derby's the biggest game of the season.
Yeah, this can be good for you as an international break because you have like literally 2 weeks to kind of mull it over.
Yeah.
And think about it and worry about it and talk shit to people about it.
Oh, I mean, I watched the Everton game on the Saturday and genuinely it felt like, yeah, that was the worst feeling in the world. Because I actually genuinely thought Bournemouth might put up a bit of a fight. But Bournemouth were pathetic. So now Everton have got a load of confidence going into the derby. But then anytime Everton have confidence coming to Anfield, we always knock that.
Yes, I actually would rather have him that, really, instead of, I feel like it's better to get a team in Everton who thinks they can do something as opposed to a team that's like in the right. Because I think it kind of plays into our hand a lot more.
Yeah. And there's nothing better than beating, if Liverpool score in the first 5 minutes against Everton, made that, again, PTSD kicks in, doesn't it? Yeah. They're like, oh boy. Oh boy, here we go, kind of deal. Do you know what I mean? If you have like the chances like that Salah had against Union and Nunes did, and that kind of, you have one of those glorious ones and you take one, you're like, here we go. Do you know what I mean? But Liverpool, you couldn't ask for a better four. I know we're kind of probably bring this into an end in a minute. The next 7 games are massive before City. Liverpool could win 7 on the bounce. We're very happy where we are in the league. We're a bit disappointed about yesterday, which is completely fine. Andy Robertson's got to have a look at himself, and I'm sure he will, because he's an experienced player. I have no idea what he's doing. So let's stick together. It's a work in progress. Relax. We have loads of options all over the pitch. We have Jota coming back. We'll have Gakpo back soon. We'll have Curtis Jones back. It's going to be great. We're going to push City all the way in this league. I genuinely feel that we'll win the league. Genuinely.
Okay. Well, don't be teasing people like this, because earlier, half an hour ago, you said top 4. Not chasing the title.
For the manager, for his target this season, still top 4.
Oh, okay.
For me, no.
Bar high like that suddenly.
No, they're all bums. Everyone's a bum apart from City. They're all bums. I've looked at them all. They're all garbage.
No, I think so too. I mean, like I say, it's kind of sucks because the points we have lost, like I say, on paper don't look bad, but it feels like, God, man, we could have gotten those. And the league seems a bit more open. City don't seem, I don't know if it's like not having De Bruyne over there. I don't feel like they have the same depth that they do. I think losing Gundogan was a huge loss for them. I feel like they're missing him in some ways more than they're missing Kevin De Bruyne. In terms of like what that dude scored a lot of important goals, breaking down ties and stuff like that last year, popping up into the box. And I think they really are missing that. You don't get that from Kovacevic, and you only get VAR reviews for red that somehow are never red, but that's a whole different story that I want to open a can of worms. And now international football, what are you watching?
None, all garbage. It's just the quality's not there in these kind of games. There's just no quality. I don't feel like
no.
You know what I mean? It's not exciting. There's nothing for me. When I watch an international game, to be fair, mate, I just watch it to see our players come off. And then I'll hobble them. I'm like, okay. Breathe again. I just want to see, I like to see a bit of anger in my football. I like to see a bit of quality. I don't feel like international football has it, unless it's a tournament when the real quality
Yeah, because there is no, I think it feels a lot more like this is not like a final, in the sense that we can make this up. So there is no as much urgency. Usually, it's like it's like playoffs, right? Like everybody is gonna make it. Let's just get to the playoffs and we'll start watching. And that's what it feels like when these group stages, like the teams don't get really serious till or it doesn't get as urgent until it's the last 2-3 games of the group stages, because then they know, holy shit, we still need 4 points. We gotta win that kind of a deal.
I watch those games. I do watch the games, the playoffs. That they always have. Like I know Scotland are usually in playoffs and stuff, and they're really good, exciting games because there's a bit of an urgency. But these ones, mate, I just feel like, they'll go out and win. The top sides always win, and they'll have a lovely time going to see the friends for a couple of weeks. But let's just go. I want to come back to real football, not this stuff kind of thing. Tim, would you watch it all? Do you watch any of the footy? The international?
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch Turkey to see if they qualify. They got a great leads. As always, they started hot and then went down. We already changed the manager once. This is the new manager starting, so it'll be interesting to see what change. Usually managers change, the shit doesn't change. But I feel like, same thing. The quality is not there. And I feel like when I watch like the national team, at least the Turkish national team, and I think this is a lot of case for a lot of teams. And maybe it's fair or not, but you see a player, you're like, hey, jackass, I just watched you last week playing for your club, and you were running 10 times more than. Nobody would put up with your shit. Like Hakan Çalhanoğlu, like nobody's gonna put up with your shit if you played in Inter. This is not the guy that is a key guy for Inter Milan. Yeah. It's not the same dude. Like he's sending his brother to Turkey or something like that to play the national game. Is sometimes, that's what it feels like. That's the part that gets aggravating. But I'll watch it. I mean,
but you don't sound excited by that prospect. You're just like
no. I didn't circle my calendar. Like I couldn't tell you what time the game is right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I just know it's Thursday sometime, but I'll just show up. I'll watch it. We do like a little thing with my brother. So that's another reason I have to kind of watch it. So I can like talk about it a little bit and stuff. So I'll watch. Hopefully they qualify. I know they're bidding for, I don't know what the hell is this, like 2032 or some shit. I don't even know if I'll be alive to watch that shit. So yeah, let's see. That's why, like, while I'm alive, let's hope that we qualify and make it.
As you know, maybe with the Liverpool thing, right? I'm always very much Liverpool over country. I have no interest in watching England, zero interest at all. And it's like when I was growing up, I was always like, why don't you support the country? And like, how do I support John Terry? How can I support John Terry? How can I not want to watch him and watch him to break his leg every single time he plays football? You know what I mean? Like, I can't like turn it off. I can't turn Liverpool off. Like, for example, if Phil Foden comes back and he's out for the season, I'll be going, okay. Even though I'm English, got that kind of thing. I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll take that, baby.
I think it's a percent. Like, I mean, there are sometimes one guy on your team that you root for, like, could be playing for Liverpool that you're not that big on. Like, it doesn't. But overall, like, especially like the way this team has been, obviously winning helps a lot, right? There makes him a lot more likable, even the neutral guy maybe. Yeah. But it feels like overall this team is a lot of good dudes. Whereas you don't have that choice or you don't have that connection when you watch the national games, I think. So you're like, ugh, can't stand this guy. Ugh, can't stand that guy. Because he plays for a rival on top of everything. So you're rooting for a guy, in your case, like who plays for Everton or something. And now that feels dirty, so you don't want to do that shit. And that's, I think, the dilemma that is international soccer.
Was it the 2018 World Cup or something like that when England got knocked out in the group stage? I can't remember which one it was. I think it was in Brazil. And Uruguay, they played in the last game and they were winning 1-0. And then Suarez scored 2 in the last 5 minutes to knock them out. And I always sit there and think to myself, he's right, Louis. Like, do you know what I mean? You see Wayne Rooney crying and you're like, I can't help but not like this. I can't help it. What can I do? And I'm just a human being too. I can't help it.
Hassan says he'll watch both U.S. games. They play Germany and Ghana. I mean, the Germany is a hot mess, so that should be interesting. Yeah, like, if I turn it on and there happens to be an international game, because it's soccer, I'll watch for a little bit, but nothing that I'm going to change my schedule around.
Exactly, mate, and that's it. I also think that I like to switch off from football for a bit. I think it's good for Liverpool, especially a Liverpool fan. And it's the last few years that we've been through, how intense it's been, of we have to win every football match. And it's not even like happiness after you win a game, it's just relief. Or like, thank God we won. It's like, I like to, sometimes I think it's just good to recharge. But there's also a part with this England side, I suppose, where there's a few nice lads in there. I actually think, there's quite a few sound little lads, but I think, like Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, they look like sound.
But then
nice.
You see Kane up top, and you're like, I just can't.
And then Declan Rice scores a 30-yarder against Liverpool, then I want to break his neck. So there's a difference. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, now I hate you again. There's a reason. Thanks for that. It's like when Ange, everyone loved like Ange Postecoglou. Oh, he's amazing. He's hilarious. And then last week he comes out and goes, Liverpool should just get over it. And you're like, okay, I hate you again. Thank you. Thanks for that.
I see how it is.
I liked you for 4 weeks. Thank you. And now I hate you.
Yeah, but you know what? I think you're right in the sense that it does give a break. Yes. It's away from this club is exhausting, man. So yeah, it does give a break to kind of like do stuff. There's going to be a lot happening and American Scouser over the next few weeks over here. I know you're working on a project for us. We're bringing Patreon on pretty soon over here. Don't forget to check out our newest sponsor, Reckless Coffee Roasters, by the way. We do have other sponsors on the way, hopefully, as well. We'll announce shortly. Unbearables. You still have that shirt, huh? Man,
The
what a
American
shirt that
Scouser
is.
merch on. Look at this.
Dude, okay, that should be like, you should be in our poster for when we do the shirts, because that's an old shirt and it looks brand new.
Oh, bro, it washes absolutely beautiful. It still fits perfect. Fair play. The quality of the merch is next level. Honestly, come on.
I'll be back tonight with the other two comedians, Bickler and Galley, regular time, Monday night podcast, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. We'll see you guys then. Grab a cup of Reckless Cup of Joe and enjoy the international break. Catch your breath, because, yeah, when we come back, once again, until the next international break, the games are going to be coming hot and heavy. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you guys later. Take care.